Today's video is going to be about when you make mistakes in life or when you do something that has unintended results. So usually there's a backstory to my topics, and this one has come a little bit recent. So this past Sunday when I was at work, I took some CBG gummies. And I usually take those for pain relief from menstrual cramps. And so I took these gummies. It was a different brand that I used than what I usually use. And I figured it would be the same thing. I figured it would be the same effect. It wasn't, long story short. But these CBD gummies had a little bit of THC in them, which I did not know until it hit me. But I wasn't like super up in the clouds or anything. It's more like of an entourage effect. When you take CBD, CBG, anything CB, whatever, it's either broad spectrum, full spectrum, or just the isolate of CBD or CBG. So this one was apparently a full spectrum. Once again, I had no idea. It was a new brand. I didn't completely, read the label to see, if there was anything different. I just assumed it would be the same thing as the last one that I was used to taking. And so I'm at work, and I know the signs of, the psychoactive effects. And so I'm noticing myself, displaying those signs. And I'm like, what is going on? But it was totally unintended. I was not trying. I work in a smoke shop, but you have to be professional. You can't be at work, all up in the clouds and stuff. So I basically went home early because I knew I wasn't gonna just be at work like that. So this was, in my language, I would say a mistake. It was completely a mistake. I did not intend to be at work all up in the clouds. And so it got me thinking, because it wasn't a bad experience. Like, I didn't get in trouble. It wasn't like I was super paranoid at work or anything. I felt mostly normal, except for I could tell the difference. And at one point in time, I was sitting outside, just like having a snack or whatever in the back. And in the back, there's like trees behind the building where I work. And I had noticed it before, and this is going to sound crazy, I had noticed it before, but it was a little bit different this time. Of course, there's a section of these trees where, like, the trees are basically falling down, and they it's like one tree over here and one tree over here, where they're basically like falling down. They're leaning into each other, and it kind of creates like an arch, like you would, walk through it. And there's a gate, a fence in front of the tree, so I couldn't have walked through it physically. But I'm looking at this, what seems to be a portal to me at this moment, and I'm like, this is not the way that I've been seeing this, this portal, this arch. It's not the way I've been seeing it. I saw it different. I really saw it like in my spirit as a portal, and it made sense to me personally, because I'm at a point in my life where I'm changing things about myself, and I'm trying to manifest a better life for me. And every day is just kind of about me taking the steps and making the changes that I need to make in order for me to walk into that new life. And so it made so much sense to me at that moment in my spirit, in my head, that this was a portal. And this all came from me taking these gummies that I thought wasn't going to do anything, not give me any psychoactive effects, but it did. So that brings me to the topic of when you make mistakes. I think that a lot of times it's really supernatural redirection. So when you make mistakes, you do something that you weren't intending to do. And of course, when you make mistakes, you have to deal with the consequences. And not all mistakes are bad, not at all. But when you do something unintended, you have unintended results. And so from there, your life changes in, a big way, a small way, but it changes because of this mistake. But it really is just spirit kind of like redirecting you to a different path or a new path, because if we continue down the same path, nothing will change. If you want things to change, then you have to go down a new path. So it can be really beneficial to be aware and deliberately focus on what happens when and after you make these mistakes. Now, not all mistakes are gonna be a spiritual redirection per se, not in my opinion. Sometimes you make mistakes and it's not necessarily a good one. So you have this mistake over here that can take you down a really good path, and you have other mistakes that can take you down not so good paths. So once again, being conscious of what happens when you make this mistake and what starts to happen after this mistake has been made can really tell you a lot about the path that you're about to go down. So for instance, this mistake that I made at work, ever since then I've kind of I went through a little patch for about a day and a half where I was kind of questioning a lot of what I built and nurtured over the last year, mostly my spirituality. And so at first I was like, what is going on? Why am I suddenly questioning everything? But then I realized that this path that I am now on because of that is like the next level up. And so whatever had still been with me in spirit and in my mentality is being uncovered so that I can deal with it. And these are the things that are happening as a result of that day. And it might be easy to say, oh, well, that could have happened, whether you did that or not. But it didn't happen until after that. So I don't believe in coincidences. I know for a fact that because of that day, everything that has happened since then has been as a result of that, and that this is the path that I'm now going down. Now, if I had been having, different thoughts, I don't know what kind of thoughts they would be, but, I would know if I was down that path. I would know that I'm going down the wrong path, and that I'm gonna need to, put some time and some effort and some focus towards getting back on the right path, or getting on a new and even newer path that is a better path. So that's kind of how I see like the metaphysical significance of making a mistake or doing something that you didn't intend to do. It's always something going on in the spiritual realm that eventually manifests in the physical realm. And sometimes a mistake is just going to be a redirection from your soul, from your spirit, and it's going to take you some time to catch up with it mentally. But if you're being aware on a regular basis, if you're being conscious on a regular basis, you will pick up on it pretty quickly. And the more that you do it, the more energy that you put into it, the more often that you do it, you would definitely be able to discern, you know, is there something good coming from this mistake? Is this something that I can be okay with and it won't harm me or someone else? Or is this mistake something that I am going to have to redeem myself from? Is this something that I'm going to have to fix, you know, either now or later down the road, whichever it may be? But that's my video for today. I hope you guys got some kind of inspiration, you know, a light bulb, or just a little bit of help from this. Be well.